Hi everyone, my name is Gianluca Falzon. I work as a researcher at the Maritime Museum of Malta, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the marble water spout, also known as the galleys water spout. I feel passionate about this artifact in particular because of my prime hobby or pastime, which is historical interpretation. I form part of one of the voluntary organizations on the island, and our mission, so to speak, is to carry out historical interpretation over various periods, including this period right here, the period of magistracy of Fraqal of the Winyakur of the Order of St. John between 1601 and 1622. This period of the reign of Grand Master Winyakur, in a way, is characterized by a development of the naval facilities of the Order of St. John, both on the Coordinator side of the Grand Harbour, but also on the Valletta side of the Grand Harbour. Valletta in this period is still a very young city. And one of the features of the new city, as a supportive measure, so to speak, for the fleet of the Order of St. John, which at this point in time is composed primarily of its galley squadron, is the provision of fresh water for its fleet in such a manner that they can leave harbour for the caravans, they can leave harbour for raiding on shipping in the Mediterranean, including and predominantly, in fact, Muslim shipping, and the ability, obviously, to leave harbour for such a mission with a supply of fresh water already aboard was a huge advantage over previous decades, when that supply of fresh water was not necessarily assured and was not so easily obtainable, in fact, compared to the supply of fresh water from the aqueducts built by the same Grand Master, culminating eventually into a water spout for use by small boats of the galleys of the Order of St. John. Apart from its aesthetic, that of a cannon, so in other words, almost indicating its primarily martial role of supplying the fleet of the Order of St. John with fresh water, what I think was particularly interesting about this particular artifact is the inscription found on the face of the muzzle of, so to speak, the cannon itself. An inscription encouraging the small boats of the harbour, the small boats tasked with bringing freshwater supplies to the much larger galleys of the Order of St. John, to approach it, notwithstanding its very intimidating and aggressive nature. The inscription effectively reads, "Small boat, why do you cower away? Approach, for I do not hold fire, but in place of shot I hold water," which is, I think, a very beautiful inscription. When we think of the exploits of Grand Master of the Winyakur, among obviously his contribution to the coastal defense network and the building of the aqueduct, the supply of fresh water to Valletta, the harbour area in general, what I think is very important to keep in mind is that naturally that supply of fresh water brought about important social and economic development to the harbour area. Most importantly, it drove the fulcrum of the Order's prime method of income, which was obviously raiding and corsairing, and all the loot that could be brought back as a result of those fleet actions. This artifact really almost acts as an antecedent and as a prophet for the subsequent prosperity enjoyed by the Maltese people and the Order of St. John, especially in the harbour area, in subsequent times, including the 18th century, which is sometimes seen as almost a golden age of the Maltese society's development.